Hi, I'm working on, this is Daisy. I'm working on planting onion sets today. It is so nice out, and I thought it would be a good day to get these in. I have those 4 already planted, and I have just a couple left to do. I like to plant in containers because that way I can control the weed factor. I can control the watering better, and I just find it more enjoyable than in the ground. So we're going to go ahead and put our onion sets in, and you just buy them in a package. And I'm going to plant them about knuckle deep in the dirt. I'm not going to worry too much about how close I get them because as they grow and I pull out the ones I want to eat for green onions, that'll leave spacing for the onions that are still in the ground to grow and to be the bigger onions that I'll keep for the winter time. I just use regular old dirt that is lots of bark and organic matter and sticks and decomposed grass clippings and leaves in it. I guess if I was a plant, I would find it very a welcoming environment. So we're just going to go ahead and plant them. And then it's supposed to rain in a couple of days. So we aren't going to worry about watering these just yet because they're really not going to be doing anything for a couple of weeks actually before we see any growth coming out of the ground. So we just want to get them in the ground so we get them going. So when the radishes are ready and the lettuce and the spinach are ready, we have green onions to go with it. Usually by Memorial Day, I can pull some little green onions out and start enjoying them. There, that's done. Now these are all onion sets. And I lost my radish seeds. On this bucket, I'm going to be planting some scarlet globe radishes. And I'm not going to worry too much about spacing for these either because radishes, when they grow, they will, if they're crowded, they'll grow away from each other. So I don't worry too much about, I used to, about the spacing of them. I worry more about the depth of them because I don't want them out of the ground. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do this type thing. Each person has their own method of planting, and I just kind of sprinkle them in there, and then I'll sprinkle the dirt back over the top. Now these I'm going to water tonight just because I don't want to wait for the rain that's due in. I want to get these things growing because the first radishes that I have planted have already germinated, and hi sweetie, and they are starting to grow. So now I want to get my next crop in because I want as many crop rotations going as I can while it's still cool out because my radishes don't do well with warm weather. We're going to be planting watercress now. So I took and I filled my pots with dirt. Watercress likes to grow along creeks and streams and ponds, so it needs a wet environment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take and put my pots in a pan so they can soak up water from the bottom. And last year I harvested watercress seeds from my plants. And I don't know if you can see how tiny, tiny they are. But I was able to successfully have a crop. Not a big crop, but a crop. And then I allowed it to go to seed so I could collect the seeds. So this year we're going to try a different method. And we're going to sprinkle the seeds on top of the soil. And I have leftovers, so I'm going to pour them back in here so I can save them in case I don't manage to get seeds this year. Now what I'm going to do is very carefully pour water on the top here to encourage the seeds to go down into the dirt and to get that dirt wet a little faster. And these I have already planted yesterday, so I want to try and get them all into one tray to help save on plant rack space. And it looks like that's going to work. Now this water I'm going to pour into these pots here because you don't want to waste any water. I'm going to put them on the plant rack and I will watch them and hope somebody germinates. Because you can't find watercress anymore around the banks and the streams and the creeks. Actually, I don't know where there are any creeks anymore. One place I did know of where watercress was, farmers let the cows destroy that patch. So you can get the seeds online, and that's where I got my first set of seeds, was online, and then I grew them and got a crop and collected seeds from them. So these are my seeds growing. So we're just going to have to sit and watch them, and then we'll put these down over here, and I'll put them on my plant rack later. But I'm going to take and work this dirt, make it loose, and I'm going to take and divide this. Daisy, come here. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, you're fine. And we're going to go ahead and plant radish seeds here on this half and lettuce over here on this half. Because I want to make sure I have enough crops coming in. Because I don't care to buy them in the store simply because of the price that they are. So we'll take and just like that, pat them down. Okay, now over here, I'm going to put lettuce, but I think I'm going to put them in rows. And the radishes I just planted here was sparklers. And normally I just take and bury the package like that where I planted, so I know what's in there. And this is Grand Rapids leaf lettuce. All over, and then we're going to take some of this dirt and we're going to sprinkle over the top of that too. I don't want them too deep. I want them deep enough to retain moisture, and we'll pack it down. And we're going to water them in very gently. sit and wait for that to soak in. And I think I'll water it just a little more, because I do have drain holes in the bottom of these pots. All my pots I put drain holes. And I have peas already planted, 2 pots of peas planted, 2 pots of red beets, and then I have room for green beans, wax beans, squash, dill and tomatoes left. I already have plantings of lettuce, spinach, and radishes, and then of course the watercress. And then I actually have some pots left over for flowers. And I have my garden